All right, welcome back again. We have our second series of the day, this time between uh I literally just blinked all of a sudden.
That's Control Alt Delete in the Riot HR department.
Thank
Let's
you.
go
All
with
right,
with a
yeah.
little twist, right? We've got the a last minute sub. We've got the rematch of that absolute roller coaster ride that I casted last week with Sandy Snake on his debut. What a series for him to cast. Never casted before. Never done any streaming before, and that was wild. To give you an idea, Control Alt Delete up 2,500 gold in that game 3, weren't able to win. It's as close to a win as you're gonna get on a loss. And Bunny Remix coming in, subbing for RHD, and so we're gonna see a Tony versus Bunny rematch in the Jungle Box.
Absolutely, yeah. And as you can see, I'm still here, but actually a new co-caster today, this evening, joining me. It's Musical Jaws. Thank you so much for coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to give music a little bit of a break. We were saying before, double duty is no joke. Finals last year went the distance. I think it was a 4.5-hour cast.
Oh God, yeah.
By the end of it, Blood and I were just like begging for sweet release and just pounding as much water as we possibly could. So
yeah,
appreciate
you guys really hung it in there, especially you, Jaws. I know you just keeping up the pace, pushing that's some good stuff. But honestly, this matchup, keeping us hype. Not going to be too concerned about that. This is a really, really fun one. Even with the last minute sub, I think there's going to be a lot of really interesting things happening. Control Alt Delete's team looking so strong despite the loss, like you said. But I think Talon's team on the side of Riot HR department, they got a lot of ground to make up. So we'll see if they're going to be able to claw a little bit of that back this series.
Yeah, that's the thing that I want to see, because they have been practicing. That's something. That's another. It's the hidden buff. I think you were mentioning. It's the hidden buff or debuff. Is how much can you practice together? How much can you get that chemistry going? Because chemistry, like trust, is built over time. And look, it all starts in champ select, right? Are you picking the comp that works best for you? Not what's strongest individually, but what works best for your team. And what I'm going to look for is how AD heavy is Riot HR department's team, because Talon 80 heavy pool, Hippo outside of Gwen 80 heavy pool, which and I Control now to be fair, Control is a mid laner, so they could figure something out with sorry, not Control. Control's on the other team. I just don't see the AP coming out of the bot lane, so it's gonna have to come from somewhere. Bunny runs carries. He loves to play Lilia. Maybe we'll see some Lilia in the jungle. But that's what I want to see is what are their comps going to look like, and how can they really tighten that up? On the other side, I think Control Alt Delete actually has a lot of momentum. That's a good loss. And I think they're really going to carry that momentum in. The downside is I'm not seeing a lot of ranked flex. I'm seeing a lot of duo queue from Control and Bully. I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that bot lane. But I don't see a lot of team play. So curious which one's going to pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, one of the positive bright spots that we saw from last week was Hippogriff was probably the best performer for Riot HR department. Whereas I think you saw a little bit more of a team effort coming from Control Alt Delete. But Control Alt Delete having a little bit more of a one-dimensional damage profile, a lot coming from Blood, a lot coming from Control, and maybe a little less coming from the other sources. But I think at the same time, maybe they don't fall into that rut too much. You really might want to look for the fact that Riot HR department have the ability to kind of, like you said, spread around that damage profile a little bit. Who's going to bring the AP damage? Who's going to bring physical damage? And I can't wait to see what happens as we get into the draft right now. First ban, blue side, we have Riot HR department, and on red side, we have Control Alt Delete.
Oh yeah, and the Bunny coming in last minute is going to completely change how things are looking. He's a very much more of a carry. Joa can carry, but Joa is known to be more of a facilitator than Bunny. Bunny is a carry. He wants to get in. He wants to make plays. And we were saying before, he does have the ability to bring some more AP to the table. As we see the bans flying very, very fast. Talon, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Gragas, yeah. Actually, let's talk about Gragas a little bit, because Gragas has been one of those, often discussed. I don't think we've seen him yet this season, but he is one of those champions that he can roll through the jungle. I believe he's been used mid as well, and he can do a lot without a ton of farm. There's the Gwen. So they're once again targeting, trying to make that comp one-dimensional. And Hippo's Gwen, that's all he got. That's all he has, unless he's been running Mordekaiser or something secretly, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think Hippo has like a decent champion pool, and I think that does feature some AP champions, but the Gwen was the one that he was definitely the most menacing on, so you can't really necessarily just pin him into that, but it is the one that you know, so it's the one that you get rid of, right?
Yeah, definitely. We see the Wukong as well as trying to see that last one. Sorry.
It looks like it's Kindred.
Yeah. Okay. Kindred. Yep. And then Kindred. That is the one trick for Bunny.
Yeah, and I honestly like that. There's a lot of been a lot of pivoting, really, just with that Kindred. Ooh, the Caitlyn. That's a speedy
Okay.
signature.
Yeah, that's one of his favorite, and he's been spamming that.
Hmm.
So him and Lemon could absolutely run that one down. And if they're gonna win, they're gonna work through Speedy, right? That's what we saw in the last series. It was Speedy. Speedy was able to pump out. Speedy wasn't quite able to get going. I think he was on Varus
Ooh, the
in the game one.
Lucian.
Lucian, I think it's gonna be a Lucian Nami.
Wow, I could see that.
Yep, Lucian Nami. There's been a couple of duo queue
Yep,
games.
there it is.
They're hovering it. Yep, Bully and Control have been running it. Lucian Nami, even though it's been nerfed pretty heavily, still fairly strong. Great bully, bully for bully, and they want to take it to Lemon, who is absolutely a risk, and they want to take advantage of those positioning mistakes.
Well, I think Lemon's most likely going to be on an enchanter. He has been practicing other champions, so it's not necessarily a guarantee, especially going into the next couple of weeks as he starts to get a little bit more of experience, because he has been pushing that. He has been pushing the envelope in terms of like just working hard, really putting in the time. But it is something that he's most likely going to be on an enchanter. Actually, this might be an Annie flex. You never know.
Yep,
But
maybe I don't think
maybe
so.
it's. I don't
That's
think so.
Annie
I don't
mid.
think so either. It's probably Annie mid. But it's something where if it does end up being Caitlyn plus Enchanter, that's something that Lucianami actually punishes quite well. Despite the range disadvantage, he doesn't farm very effectively on his own with Lucian, but if he gets into a good E range with the Nami E on him, that's a great trade.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm curious about is where they're going to run. Okay, it's going to be a Kate Morgana. Interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting
Very, very
pick.
interesting.
I think the problem is that it still lacks a little bit of that lane power unless Lemon lands a binding, right? It's something where he's going to be walking forward with that poke item from the support angle and then just trying to get as much gold as possible. But if he hunts a bind and he misses, that's going to be a lot of lane presence that's missing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The Vlad being locked in blood was not what he'd been banned out pretty aggressively previously. I believe he let his pick go through to the second tier. Clear adjustment as we see the Yone ban definitely targeted at Hippogriff. Vlad, one of Blood's favorite champions, one of his best champions overall. Not really much of a top laner anymore. Definitely a strong mid laner, scales into infinity, and is going to complement the early punch you in the mouth lane of the Lucian Nami as we see the rest of the lanes. As we see the rest of the bans coming through.
Yeah, I think importantly, like you're saying with the Vlad, it's hard for the Annie on her own to force the Vlad out of lane, to force unless he's looking for some sort of all in. Vlad has a good time just Wing away from her. And it's unless the Annie's able to burst him from 100 with Ignite. I don't know. It's kind of a harder proposition without a gank.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
The top lane bans.
Yep, they are going after Hippo. I'm actually a little surprised that they grabbed the Lemon support so early. I mean, his pool can be pinched, but not that much,
Not that
and
much,
especially
yeah.
because Hippo is such a key part of
I agree.
this comp's success. Like they need Hippo to be on a champ he likes, and
And I think
yeah,
a lot of Lemon's champs play like analogous roles in terms of them. In terms of they heal, they shield, they support effectively from the backline enchanter perspective. I think it's something that if you are excited for them to pick or not to pick the support against it, then yeah, sure you can go enchanter early. But like you said, it really opens up Hippo to getting targeted like that.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I don't know what they're going to take off. It's the Mordekaiser to take it away from J-Bob. Okay, Kled. Interesting. I will have to do a little research and
Just
see
the jungle
if
last
J-Bob
pick.
has been running Kled. I mean, yeah, and it's going to be, they're going to have to put some beef in that jungle. Tony can run beef. He doesn't really. I love the Darius hover. This is we were on the wrong end of a Darius series when Hippo was on it. Big fan. Curious to see how that matches up. I don't really know the Darius Kled matchup. I know Kled likes to go at you early. I don't think Darius loses a level 1 to 3. So, and Hippo's very, very comfortable on him. So if they're, and looking at the comp broadly, They are a blow you up,
Ooh.
set up a reset. There's the Lilia. Love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
great chase down, great reset potential, and then the Annie sets it all up, which
They
is
have great
great.
pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big
I
fan.
mean, looking at this, they have the Annie initiation with Kate Morg follow up. That's great pick potential. And if they have a little bit of a harder time playing against the objectives because I think they can get zoned out really easily with something like a Nocturne ult or a Kled ult. But if they are able to play vision, play angles, that's something where they can offer a lot, especially with an Annie.
Yeah, this is spicy. This is
Yeah.
we got TCL first Kled for this season of TCL. I think TJ was the last person to bust out the Kled.
That's an
And
exciting one for sure.
yeah, well, it's exciting. It's he could be a coin flip though. If things go bad for Kled, he is going to be pretty useless. Whereas Darius, he just needs one team fight. You know, Darius could be 0-5. He gets 2 resets in a fight. He's back in this, and you know these
Yeah.
aren't. We're not nobody's pros here, so you can absolutely take advantage of it. The interesting thing I wanted to call out with the Vlad is the interaction between the Darius ult and the Vlad pool.
Hmm.
There's some interesting interactions here where Nocturne has the spell shield. He can try to ignore Darius ult. Vlad has the pool. He can try to cancel out Darius ult.
Hmm.
So Hippo's going to have to be really, really careful with his resets to see how he can set that up, because that's what needs to happen, right? Morgana lands a pick. Annie drops Bear. Lilia can set that up as well with her Drowsy, and then Darius just gets chopping.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I like the comp, straightforward. Plus you got the speedy Caitlyn.
I mean, at the same time, though, I think I really like what Control Alt Delete have done. I think all of their champions are kind of on the same page. You have the Kled to go in, Nocturne to go in, you have Vladimir to go in, and you have the Lucian Nami that actually really complements that playstyle really well, and kite really well against a champion like a Darius. So I think it's something, and especially with Control piloting the Lucian, who's a very, very good Lucian, I think that's something that if they have any sort of strength coming out of lane, you can look for Control to kind of take over.
That's going to be the real question: is can bot lane just run over? Can Control and Bully just run over Speedy and Lemon? Because if they can just run over Speedy and Lemon and make this a strong side bot game with first Nocturne gank, that's gonna be solid. On the other side, if Hippo gets out of control, and then they have to do some damage control or some babysitting topside. Tony loves, I believe I think it was Bunny was actually really, really loving topside. I think Bunny got like every Rift Herald last.
Right.
I'm gonna need a double check. I'm pretty sure Bunny loved playing through topside.
Yeah.
So this
I mean,
is great
looking
for
at
him.
the team, yeah. I mean, looking at the
Yeah.
team, why wouldn't you, right? It makes.
True,
I think it
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. You look at the strength that you're bringing in the top side in terms of champions, in terms of like tempo setting. I think it makes a lot of sense in terms of comp. So I think that's a trend that we can definitely see continuing.
Yeah, Kled is one of those champs that does not do well from behind. And in the mid lane, I I don't know, because I think Blood's just gonna hang out. Like I don't know if I necessarily see him getting 100-0'd by
Yeah,
Annie
I
just
was
with
thinking the
his
same.
sustain.
Even
Yeah,
Annie
like
Lilia, right?
and he's gonna build tankier, right? Vlad always
Mhm.
builds. He wants to stack health.
At
He
least
wants to
health,
build
yeah,
tankier. Yeah, so I don't
exactly.
see him getting blown up. I'm curious if Talon's gonna run, because he's Talon mid, right? Talon
Mhm.
is a roaming champion. I'm curious if he's gonna run something a little bit, I don't want to say cheesier, but
Mhm.
something a little bit more roam heavy.
Might be, yeah,
Yeah,
very possible.
I'm not a big I'm not a big
Yeah.
Annie player. I don't know if like Moby Boots, like I don't, yeah, do you remember
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
throwback
I
like
know.
Hyper Realm Annie
Just
thing?
all mid laners build Mobies. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if he's gonna
Whew.
do that, but
I
like
don't know about that one, but
he might do something similar where he
for
just
sure.
needs to get out of lane. That's gonna be the question. Can he get
Yeah.
out of lane to roam?
All right, yeah, absolutely. And we saw that happen a little bit in the last series that we just watched. Definitely trying Sandy supporting all those jungle plays. Didn't quite work out as he kind of went into the mid late game, but still, some of those early plays making a big difference into TCL that we're seeing so far. Last few seconds, Jaws, give me your predictions.
I'm actually gonna go with Riot HR department. I think
Ooh, okay.
and I'll tell you why. There's a very specific reason. A lot of things need to go right for Control Alt Delete,
Okay.
and I think that overall and there's not a lot of cushion, right?
Yeah,
The Lucian Nami kind of has to
that's true.
smash lane
Yeah.
because Lucian falls off. Vlad has to scale, right? He can't get behind. Kled kind of has to win his lane, has to get ahead. Nocturne kind of has to get ahead. You know, that level 6 has
That's
to
very
hit.
fair.
So they got to check a lot of boxes. I don't think that's the same for Riot HR department. I think that they can get away with a lot more. One good Darius team
That's fair,
fight, one
yeah.
good Tibbers, and so I like the margin for error on their comp. That being said, if this game drags on, I think Blood is just going to become an absolute monster.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna actually have to go against that. I think I'm gonna go with Control Alt Delete. I think I really like how cohesive their team comp is, and I think there's a lot to be said about how they have the ability to play team fights and objectives from there. So, I think it's a little bit execution heavy, like you said, especially up there in the top lane as the Kled. He's probably gonna get camped a little bit, but I think I just really like the comp direction that they've taken with this, and I think that'll kind of carry it through.
Yeah, I could totally see that, and I would say generally speaking, in a vacuum, if you asked me before champion select, I would say based on momentum, based on the general lane matchups, and based on how Control Delete played as a team, I would agree with you.
Yeah,
But on the strength of the draft, I just see a lot of people on
that's
champions they're
fair.
comfortable with, and
Hmm.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm really excited to see this Annie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think he's a masters level player who specializes in pickoffs, and Annie is one of those pickoff champs. Plus, she's an AP champion. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
yeah.
true.
I was honestly expecting him to grab Silas because he's been practicing Silas, but I love Annie in this comp. Sets the Darius up beautifully.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're having a little bit of spectator issue. Yeah, I mean, it's happening for all of us. This is not just a server thing. I think it's a, yeah, I think we're just waiting for the everything to kind of show up. I do want to point out that I think it's going to be eyes on the bot lane here. I think even though we're probably going to get a little bit more action in the top, I think we really got to keep tabs on what's happening down there, making sure that we're not missing any kills in terms of gold difference, because that can make such a huge difference as the game starts to snowball. Lucian gets a few plates on him, and all of a sudden Darius just gets one shot as he gets kited out by Reformed Bully, plus the Nocturne. I don't know. I'm really excited to see what happens down here, especially with the cleanse.
Yep. So we've got I left and rejoined, and I was able to get back in. It's
Okay.
5-point across the board. It looks like Tony is starting blue side, bot side Nocturne, and Lilia is also going to be matching. So Lilia is going to be starting bot side. So it's going to be a bottom to top. So we may see some legit fireworks in the top side. And going back to your point about the bot lane, I agree, and I actually think that if Control at the lead is going to win, I think Control and Bully have to absolutely smash this lane.
Yeah.
And like I said, they've been duoing. Bully is a really talented playmaker, so if that's going to happen, they'll do that. And Control and Bully have great chemistry. You and I saw it personally, watching them
Hmm.
work, do some work.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. No,
and I think
that's a two very
yeah,
mechanically proficient players.
oh yeah, yeah, good communication. Bully kind of knows what needs to happen early. Control's just going to do the deeps. He's going to be able to farm in his sleep. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm. It's going to be, what is this jungle top? Like, what is this jungle
Mhm.
top thing? Because I honestly think they're going to leave bot on an island, and I think we're going
Exactly.
to see a jungle top 2v2 very very early.
Oh, absolutely. Both junglers starting here on the bottom side on their respective buffs. I also want to point out the itemization down here in the bottom lane. Both AD carries going with longsword 3-pot, looking to trade early, looking to trade often, and we got to keep an eye on how those trades go. Autopsy going to look like, or excuse me, not Autopsy. Wow, Bunny Remix looking like he's going to go for a full clear here. As top lane looks like it's pretty equal so far. Talon been doing a great job just walking up harassing Blood, making sure he's a little bit uncomfortable, not having the time of his life. Overall, things are looking pretty even, forcing the issue, getting the level 2 early down here in the bottom lane, but still
Oof.
kind of equal.
Yeah. For now, and they're seeing the push in. But this is where things can get really, really dangerous if they're not careful. This is, you get a little excited, you push up, you take 1 or 2 tower hits, and before you know, you're down to half health.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I think it's one of
so
those things where it's like the more you look at these lanes, the more you're like, I feel like we should see action, and the more we're not seeing action, the more I'm concerned that something is just going to be explosive and it's going to end the game. You know?
oh wow, yeah, big negative trade. That's the power of the
huge.
Kled early. Hippo getting pushed out a little bit, and one bear trap. Yeah, so yeah, he's gonna have to be careful. He's gonna have to go get those long range axes and try to bleed Kled out, maybe get him low, get him off of his steed, as we see that, before the junglers come up, because that's going to be where they're going to be able to get the advantage.
Absolutely, yeah. And good trades happening, a hook actually happening from the top side as we're looking just to trade a little bit. Here comes the Darius doing a lot of damage, but not quite enough. Actually, Dink up here in the top lane as Lilia's here now to help. Early flash from the Kled, forcing the return flash since the Nocturne is there from the Lilia. Good looks so far from the top side of control of the lead.
Yeah, but flash advantage for the Darius. So if Hippo wants to take advantage of that, he's already starting to eke out a bit of a CS lead. He's gonna take it right away. He doesn't care that he has left health.
He's
just
in there.
Yeah, he's in there. He's doing what he does. That's a Nocturne. That is not a Kled. So he's gonna
exactly. Ooh, as a return gank now here, just roaming straight from top to mid. Blood is going to eat a little bit of damage there as Annie walks forward with the stun. That's a lot of damage, actually. Not looking too bad. He is down CS, but it looks like the wave is pushing in his favor, so he'll be just fine.
Yeah, and in the mid lane, a little bit more pressure from Bunny onto Blood. Blood forced to pop the Ghost, and now Bunny taking control of that bot side river, grabbing the, and maybe doing a little bit of a role reversal from what he did last time and setting up for that Dragon. Dragon going to be spawning shortly.
Sounds good, yeah, exactly. And bot lane is actually not looking too bad for the side of Riot HR department. Yeah, they're down a little bit of CS, but I think they're down a little bit of HP. But overall, I think keeping up. And ooh, we're looking at some low mana bars, so we might be looking for a trade coming up for Control Alt Delete. They are looking very, very strong in this lane.
Yeah, they are, and ooh, big poke. Yeah, this is what Talon has to do. Talon has to take advantage of Vlad pre-level 9.
Actually, here goes that all-in early flash force from Speedy as the bubble lands over onto Lemon. I think he's going to have to flash as well. The exhaust is still available, but he's going to have to burn his flash regardless. Yep, they're forcing them out of lane. Very nice. Good job from the side of Control Alt Delete. That early lane getting the kind of direction, the kind of pressure that they need.
Yeah, that was a caster curse a little bit. Oh, they're doing just fine as they get blasted out of lane. Both flashes burn, and you know that Bully is saying, if I hit a bubble, we kill. If I hit a bubble, we kill. If I hit a bubble, we kill. And then great call from Tony coming in, grabbing that first dragon.
Exactly. That early bot pressure.
Scuttle control means absolutely nothing if you're down 2 players.
Yep. That early bot pressure translating. The wave is going to be pushing in their favor, it looks like, down in the bottom lane. So overall, just a really, really good, strong side of the map for Control Alt Delete. Even top side, yes, J-Bob is down HP. He's down a decent amount of CS, honestly, but he's just going to be hanging in there. Make sure he's not getting this Darius too accelerated in this matchup.
Yep, J-Bob is going to do his best, but here comes Hippo pulling him back in.
And he has him fully stacked now. He might even get him off his mount with that. Really nice stuff. That's just the strength of that Darius, as you were saying.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, that's the thing. It's just that's Darius. He walks up, he hits you, and you got to be careful. He's dangerous. Yeah, he's going to be dangerous all game long as Talon's coming up.
Is Annie going to cone right into this Nocturne? It looks like they are. He has eyes on him. Nocturne's going to get right onto him, but Lily is right there to support. Oh my goodness, 1 HP, and he just evaporates first blood for the side of Riot HR department. Now they're looking for that deep dive over on the side with Annie. Lilia with the shield from Annie is going to start tanking, but overall the Nocturne, the Kled coming through, and that's going to get him out of dodge. Nice roam from the Annie, securing a lot of resources for his team, as actually Kled is going to come and prevent the rest of the steal. Is going to pull him back in. Actually, Lily's getting really low. He has the Ignite. I didn't even notice, but the shield from the Annie is actually going to save him. The Ghost comes in through from here. Darius pulls him back in, gets him off the mount, and he's going to be able to secure this kid as well, especially with that ult now taking on him. There goes the Kled. It's going to not get the kill, and it's going to die, losing all of that farm and giving another kill over. Meanwhile, Blood is actually free farming, but that CS difference is not going to make enough of a difference. Actually, here comes Tony as well, flashing in, forcing the return flash from Hippo, but man, that is a lot going in favor of Riot HR department.
Yeah, that's a big time gold swing. That's almost 2,000 gold. 7 minutes 30, or about 7 minutes 30 in. Hippo's ahead. He's got his kill. That's all Darius needs to get the snowball rolling, and that's the kind of fight that they're looking for. I was going to say Talon Mid. Talon Mid's going to be going to have to change his name pretty soon.
Here's the roam from the Vladimir. Actually, the shield just landed. Actually, it's not going to turn out to be anything. Vlad popping his ultimate, the cleanse popping on the black shield binding, and they are going to not get anything off of this roam as another binding lands for Lemon. Ooh, that's a lot of damage from the Caitlyn as well. Something we didn't actually get to earlier is the fact that Caitlyn is actually building lethality. That early lane power from the serrated Dirk is going to be really strong, and we're kind of seeing the effect of that right now. So even though the roam comes in, they aren't quite able to capitalize on anything, just because mostly they don't offer that much CC. Ooh, as the flash comes through from Lucian, almost enough damage. Isn't able to get the last auto to secure it. Nice looks from Control. It's going to be able to force him out of lane. Actually, is able to maybe get the final kill. Ooh, is he going to die as a result? No, he actually lives, flashing out of the last turret shot, and he is totally fine securing that last kill, but they can't stay to force the Caitlyn off, as the Rift Hill is actually being started on the opposite side of the map. Just non-stop action here on the Rift. After that 3-minute mark, it has just been go, go, go.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'll give you a break. We'll talk about this. We'll break this down. Yeah, so Animid getting a kill. Excuse me, Talmud getting a kill.
No breaks here because here comes
more
that
death and
invade.
destruction.
Red buff getting taken in the Annie roam. Vladimir, a complete statue in the lane there, and loses his jungler as a result.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I was going to try to give you a break, but so much for that as Talon Medic walks back into lane. Great invade in order to knock Tony out. We were saying, Nocturne, he's a hard farming champion. He has to get his items. He has to get his farm. He's down in CS, and Lilia is making more of an impact. Bunny's making more of an impact on this map than Tony currently is.
Exactly.
So this is exactly the jungle matchup that Riot HR department is going to look like. They've got multiple kills on their. They got multiple kills as we see Bully and Control actually coming up. Bunny really, really wants this Herald though, but he's going to get grabbed. He's going to get grabbed. He's going to get chased down. Talon mid coming in. Going to try and turn this one around. Blood going to pull away. Hippo going to try and chase things down, but he is chasing a little bit too deep. Blood is going to actually take that kill, and now Control of Elite grabs the Herald. Woof, what a turnaround.
Exactly. You saw that bot lane roam up, making the big difference there. Control actually is able to secure the blue buff on the backside of that, and the full 5-man is now here in the Rift Herald. That first Rift Herald being so important, like you're saying.
Yeah, that was something else. Grabbing that first Herald. I feel like Bunny maybe tunneled a little bit on that objective. He really, really wanted that Herald. And he said, I'm going to go top lane, and I'm going to come back. Then I'm going to go to the jungle, and then I'm going to come back. And I think at a certain point, he may have wanted to either go for a reset or maybe apply pressure elsewhere and revisit it. But I think he got a little sunk cost fallacy there as we see the Herald going down. Going to take some big chunk out of this mid turret, this mid powder. Such an important part.
Ooh, and there's the Colin coming through, actually almost landing onto the Annie to be able to kill him. The bike back binding just misses. And look at the wave in the bottom lane. This is going to be just fine for Control Alt Delete, it looks like. At the same time, that early play converting to early gold, but they're still down.
Yeah, they absolutely are. The gold lead, however, is shrinking. I think it was about 1,500 gold down to about 500-600. I mean, this early in the game, 1,500 gold is nothing to sneeze at. But if you look at the individual gold, Hippo's up about 1,000. But on the other side, Control's up a little bit less than that. So this game is still very much on a knife's edge as the first micro buys are coming in. Big damage from the Lilia. Blasting.
Ooh, Darius roam here in the mid lane.
Yeah.
The Lilia ball just comes through and misses. There's no W anymore, and he is going to get taken down with that finality dunk from the Darius. Very nice. Like, overall team play from Riot HR department has just looked like a completely different level. These early roams, these early invades, all being supported by the solo laners, and that has been the difference maker this game.
Well, that's the chemistry buff, right? They were able to play multiple flex games together, and you can see them starting to learn each other's tendency. Big shout out to Hippo. We give him a lot of grief for kind of staying in his lane and just kind of doing his own thing. Awesome roam, right?
Exactly.
Took advantage of the fact that he had the lane advantage. He had a great lane state, came down, and then once again, the Annie. Charge up the stun, press R, free reset, and that's going to be the recipe for success for them.
And we were just talking about earlier how we weren't sure how Annie was going to be able to kill Vlad without any sort of help. And as the support roam actually was able to force the flash out of the Nocturne, there's no ult from the Hippogriff Darius, so I'm not sure they were able to convert that into anything, but it's nice to be able to, as we now see even more action forcing the flash out of Speedy Bandito. The flash over the wall, nice flash, saving his life as the Nami ult isn't quite able to connect on the front of that.
But that is as Will would say, that is A-okay, because that Nami cooldown is 1:30. That flash is well beyond that, and we see in the chat he is spamming those flash timers. So you bet that as soon as that wave is back up, they are going to be targeting that Caitlyn and trying to delete her. So very much a lot of life still in this.
Look for the dive here. Yeah, they're going to force him off the wave here.
Yeah. One plate, probably two, with the Lucian.
Absolutely. Yeah, he is a little bit low on mana, as they're actually pulling 4 down. They got to be careful here. They can't stay for this next plate. I think they're calling it out in comms. They know that they're coming, but it's a 4-man, and they're actually already still out of position. I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull anything out. They do have summoners, so they might be okay, but it's hard to say. Annie almost has the charge stun, but as the Lilia ult comes through, they're going to look for the dive here fully. That Caitlyn ult is going to chunk, and they are going to be able to get the kill fully over onto Nami, as Caitlyn secures it with the ultimate.
Yeah, that's a tough situation because of just the sheer burst damage, especially that early. I was actually looking to see if Talamid had flash up because that was a juicy Tibbers drop setup because they were both Control and Bully were right next to each other. Did not have the flash up, was still able to land, I believe it was a long range Drowsy from Bunny to set that up. And that's the burst, right? You get the Caitlyn ult, the single target damage on the side of... Yeah, they just soften them up.
Yeah, I mean, but the concerning thing is that they're not setting up their wave states appropriately prior to leaving for these roams. So all of these roams are actually, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of these roams are actually ending up as net negatives gold-wise. I mean, you look at the gold difference. Now, Control Alt Elite are actually ahead just because of the difference that they're getting in plates, the difference that they're getting in farms, because the waves aren't being correctly set up for the roams.
No, that's a very good point. And what I'm going to see is, can they convert those into objective timers? Because all told, right, really flashy, cool plays, really great individual kills, gold lead's still even, right? One dragon. One dragon, and I think there's but on the side of Control Alt Delete, to your point, they have a Herald and a dragon.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that one play did lead into a dragon.
Yeah, they're gonna have to convert that into something in order to make this happen. As we see, I'm looking top side. I think we're looking mid. Big old chunk out from Kled.
That's gonna knock Kled off of his mount. Yeah, that is a bad situation as it's a cannon wave that's bearing down, so he's got to get the heck out of dodge. Mid lane, it's still looking pretty even. Actually, huge CS lead built up for the Vladimir, but unfortunately, it just mirrors the CS lead that's in the top.
Yep, absolutely. I was actually wondering if Nocturne was going to drop his Paranoia in order to try to push the Darius out, but Darius, one of the best 1v2 champions in the game, so they're probably... And this is what I was talking about in the draft, is that if J-Bob gets behind, if the Kled starts bleeding out and becoming a problem, or the Darius starts becoming a problem, that puts a lot of pressure on Tony, whether Hippo's in the comm saying, hey, we got a problem.
Here's the ghosting from the Darius. He's going to be able to focus on him, almost out of courage, gets the pull in, isn't going to be able to get out in time. It's definitely gone into it, as we also see a gank in the middle lane. Vladimir looking for the play onto Annie, but they don't quite have the damage to follow up on it. Vladimir not even on one item yet. Actually, he's still there. He's ghosted in. No, the Tibbers is going to be slapping him. That's a lot of burn damage happening at the same time. As junglers both show up, but only one ends up with a kill.
That's a shame. And just as we were saying, the Darius is officially a problem. And Bunny knows exactly where this win state is. They need to get this Darius out of lane. They need to get him pushing him.
He can't ult here because Lucian's going to be in there. As actually, he's going to have to flashback out because the bubble lands, and now he's going to be exhausted. No cleanse anymore. Actually gets Black Binding on top of it. Ooh, is he going to be able to Q this and live? Oh, it's going to be so close. What a trade from the bot laners. The lethality strength of the Caitlyn, even with the Gale Force, almost not enough. As we see the full 4-man there once again. Vladimir has pushed in the lane and has almost taken the tower. Ooh, as Lilia actually flashes in, gets the spell shield, but oh no, he spell shields the Lilia ultimate. What is spell shield from Tony? As a result, Tony is totally fine. It's just gonna be able to walk out.
That was nasty.
Wow, that's crazy.
That was nasty. That was really nasty. Well, and those are the interactions, right? I thought we were going to see it on the Darius level.
We're seeing a trade up here in the top lane. J-Bob with the ignite. Hippo does have the ultimate, so I don't know if he's going to be able to fully take the fight. It has to flash out. What a play from J-Bob. Actually, is now gets taken out, and unfortunately, and Hippo turns and gets the bleed with the ultimate and kills him. What a turn from him. Flashes out, buying his time, gets the full cooldown, dismount, and ults his mount away. As actually here is Bloodbath and Beyond here on the roam. Oh, very nice. He knows how to play against Darius. He's played him once or twice before he gets that shutdown. That's very big.
Oh, that was flashy by Hippo. That was a little. I think his FGC is showing. At that point, he timed that. His spacing was perfect. Unfortunately, this is not a 1v1 fighting game. This is a team MOBA, and so Blood rolls in and cleans it up, and that seems to be the story. But unlike what we were talking about previously with the individual plays not turning into global objectives, now we see Bunny and the rest of the team grabbing that second dragon. But on the top side, we see they're going to trade that for the Herald.
Yep, ends up being just a fine for Control Alt Delete. Not ideal as that Dragon Sin started up, as we are actually, it's going to be an Ocean Soul on the map. Lucian's just going to have to back out. He has no cleanse, so he's got to get out just in case of the dive. Lilia just going to be able to look for the rest of the enemy jungle, but good vision warding occurring on that red side. There's going to be on the blue side. Jungle and hopefully we'll see. I mean, these guys like to fight, so actually. Ooh, here's the 3-man roam. The Lilia ult coming in with the Annie ult as well. Their blinding happens, but the Nami ult's going to try and disengage. Is going to be able to get out. Does have the flash available to him. The black shield is going to protect him from any sort of CC, as it's ultimately just going to be a flash for the Vladimir with the ultimate.
I'm gonna set my watch for 30 seconds, and that's how much time I have to talk. Maybe if I'm lucky. he just keep fighting. I mean, that's
wild.
This is what Control Alt Delete does, and you know, the other team pretty much does the exact same thing. I was gonna say we got Mythic starting to drop. It's about 18 minutes in, but I bet Hippo's just gonna fight J-Bob again. So I'm gonna try to keep my analysis brief. I wanted to call it. We got an Eclipse on the Nocturne, so going heavy damage. There really isn't a front line on the side of Control Alt Delete, especially with the Enchanter support and the Kled. So we got a lot of people carrying, and I'm curious to see if that is potentially going to hurt them long term. Meanwhile, Control is
he's gonna go for the all-in now. Very getting forced out of Speedy Bandito, as actually that's a lot of damage. The ult comes through. That's a lot of lethality damage. They're gonna have to get the heck out. And he's down bot again. This is mental warfare at this point. And I think Control Alt Delete is just knowing that they're outmatched at this point. There's the Black Shield and forcing the flash out of Nami. What a nice skill shot from Lemon. Ooh, and Lemon and Annie is still there. Oh my goodness. At this point, it's not forcing that much of a gold lead. Obviously, they're up 100 gold, but like at this point, it's just waging war on their mental.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be a free bot outer, and yeah, just isn't that the scariest thing about Annie? Whenever you see an Annie with the stun, you know Tibbers is up. There's just fear that you have to overcome, because especially if you're a carry, right? If you're a carry or a squishy, in the back of your mind, you just know she can blow you up. The one thing is, every single time Talon mid is making these roams, I'm looking for the flash, and his flashes are not up. I want to see him kind of fiddle down on the quality side, but here comes Nocturne.
Ooh, there's the mid gank coming from the Nocturne. Nocturne ult is in. He still has ult available to him. The Ghost is out from mid Darius. I don't know if they're going to be able to secure this kill, but here is the Vladimir. It looks like they're going to be able to kill it on the back side of that. That's a nice kill. Darius overextending a little bit too much, looking for that mid tower.
Yeah, that's I hate to say it, that's the Hippo special. Get a lead and then walk in and try to fight 1v2 or 1v3. I mean, he does have the Triforce finished. You know, he does have a bit of a gold lead, but it's just he's not as far ahead as he thinks he is. And
I mean, the unfortunate thing is that he's given both these kills to Vlad. That's really who you do not want to be giving these kills to.
And he's giving J-Bob solo gold, right?
Exactly.
J-Bob is going to be able to, he may not be able to take it, but it's, you know, things are getting, that top outer is getting incredibly low. J-Bob's going to be able to kind of work his way back into the game. He's maintaining his
Ghost down here in the bot lane is going to ult over onto Annie. Annie's forced to flash early. Make sure that she can get out of it as, wow, that is so much Vlad damage coming through. Ult's back, and he's able to maybe look for it. No Nocturnal, but he does flash in, gets the fear, and I think they're going to be able to finish this off. Yeah, that's a shutdown onto the Annie for the Nocturne, getting him back into this game. But Tibbers, whoo, oh, is Caitlyn ult could be able to secure it? Yes!
Gorgeous.
Ooh, actually, oh man, that Caitlyn ult comes in with the lethality, does a ton of damage, but the Tibbers finishes him off, even through the Hex Drinker. Wow, that is the power of Annie.
Yeah, and we see Control is going to try to snag that. Did he grab it? Yeah. No, he didn't. Oh, okay. So he wasn't able to, they were able to secure that blue buff, but just absolute pressure all across the map. And I wanted to go back to my point about Talon. Talon is one of the key initiators. Never mind, they're just going to fight again.
Ooh, I think they're going to be able to look for this. Gets the root fully onto that. Actually, Lemon almost dies as a result. Darius does have the ult, and he's going to be able to finish him off right here.
Interesting.
Saves it.
He held the ult.
Yeah, he knew he was going to be able to get it regardless. Kled is here now. I don't think Vlad had information that the Morgana was there because their bot lane had fully rotated into the top, but now that shutdown going in favor of the Darius just fine. Actually engaged down here in the top lane. Ooh, is almost able to secure it with the Nami ultimate as the bot side of the jungle. Hippogriff actually flashes in, looking for a hook. Trading on equally against the J-Bob Kled as still here in the top lane. The early cleanse being forced out as Annie's going to be able to secure the kill over onto Annie. And still action here in the bottom lane as Darius is almost there. Are they going to be able to finish the kill? No! I don't know. Oh just saved it just in time as the Kled goes through, gets ulted again. Caitlyn's going to be able to secure the kill along with Darius. And man, that was on a nice edge. Oh my goodness, and here's the Lucian being flashed out as well as the Annie matches kill with the Tibbers. The Rylai slow is doing so much work as long as the Leandris, as man, this is looking absolutely broken, and Annie just runs him down like a dog. Just non-stop action for the last 3 minutes, and Control Alt Delete are the ones that suffer.
Now go get Dragon. Go get Dragon. Like y'all just did so much work. I want to see them go do something with it, right? Like they're getting kills across the board. They're making picks. Go take objectives. Get closer to Soul. That's what they're doing right now. Good. This is what I want to see. They're really starting to find their groove. And yeah, Talon mid is really good at deleting people. So whatever he does as he's expanding his pool, just do more of this because it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. Vlad's going to be here, maybe looking for a little bit of disruption, but man, he gets rooted right away. As the TP from Annie comes in, he might have to flash out of here. This is so depressing as he's just going to die straight up. Vlad hangs around too much and gives Hippo yet another kill. I don't know what he was doing there. He was all alone. I think he thought he could make a play, but there's no play to be had.
Yeah, they may want to consider a Darius ban as well because
Oh my goodness.
Hippo is 7-3-1, and yeah, that's Darius. Enjoy your stay. I mean, if he gets 1 or 2 good fights, he's going to be able to do exactly that: the sustain, the execute potential. Yeah, it's just brutal. He's got the dead man's plate now for the movement speed, and yeah, here we go.
Oh no, Lucy just eased in. Actually, he's going to take so much damage from the Darius. Not going to actually goes for the backline on this one. Darius is getting kited a little bit, but man is looking for the heal as well. He does so much damage and just goes for the dunk right away and gets the full reset over onto Nami. Nami's going to have to get the heck out of dodge. Gets the pull yet again onto Nocturne and just dunks it right away. Oh my god. This is absolutely unethical. Kled is a little bit late on the backside of the plate, but the rest of the team is already here to support. Oh my god, what just happened?
Darius happened. I have no other words. Darius happened, and yeah, now they have a Baron positioning if they want to with the bleed with the Caitlyn. I think she's going to be a little bit slower because she decided to go with the Eclipse instead of attack speed. So you were mentioning before about how Riot did something different, but down mid dropping the
here. He's going to look for the big ult, but he is absolutely 1v5. Does so much damage. He's almost actually able to one-shot 2 of the enemy team. He's just running at the speed of light with this ghost roll in. As we see on the backside of the fight, Lily is zoning out the rest of the team. Now he is all alone, and here comes that big, scary Darius. He's going to get the big heal, and there he goes. Vlad is gone. Don't need to take the Baron. They've gotten what they came for.
Yeah, it's wild too because it's the Landry's Rylai's. So instead of the more traditional burst Annie, you mentioned this the utility of the Rylai's plus the absolute totally. Yeah, so we've got Leandry's Rylai's, which normally in Annie you're like no, she wants to just blow people up, but because of her innate damage, and especially because, as we were saying, there's no tank on the team. She can still go a little bit more utility and a little bit more burn because they're just going to be stacking health. Blood has Shadow Flame plus Night Harvester, right? That's a lot of health.
Yeah.
And Nocturne doesn't really have. He hasn't bought anything. He's just buying damage. And then Nami is an enchanter. She's not going to.
Our problem right now is that Tibbers might be more of a champion than Reformed Bully is at this point. And
I wouldn't go that far.
No, Tibbers is just so scary at this point. Where you look at what's happening, and you look at how Tibbers is creating so much space that he basically has to be focused because he's going to do so much damage that I don't see. As we're seeing a trap being set up here around the bottom side jungle. Nice W from the Lucian, getting that first strike proc, knowing what's going on in there, taking care of that vision. But man, pushing the tempo from the side of Riot HR department, looking really, really solid in the meantime.
Yeah, this is looking great. It's a big time turnaround. They clearly took.
Oh no!
Last
Lands it on two. The ult will be coming through. Nami is just going to be absolutely gone right away. Nocturnal maybe to help disengage a little bit, but that is Nami absolutely dead to rights. Nice W coming in from the Lilia. Or excuse me, nice E coming in from the Lilia.
I was going to say, and something that we didn't really mention, as it looks like they're setting up for Baron. Let's see if I can make a point. Is the movement speed, the absolute speed.
Like, goodbye, Lemon.
Dead man's plate on the Darius. Lilia is super fast. Annie, Caitlyn in general, fairly mobile, right? Can trap in, has the long range. So they have a ton of Vlad
coming in now. He's going to be looking. He's might just be able to one-shot Lemon. Lemon actually has the Zanya, so he's going to be just fine. Vlad, without any sort of Zanyas, is just going to get absolutely first on the back side of that. Hippo is looking pretty scary, but his health bars are low. Now here comes the lethality coming in. Lilia doing a lot of that damage, especially with that extra move speed. She's going to be doing a lot of damage to this Vlad. As Control Alt Elite is just going to get routed on the back side of this. There's the Gale Force, the flash over the wall. The Cole getting Spell Shield, a nice flash from Control as well. The Smite here to buy a little bit of space, but man, they cannot just buy a Vowel at this stage in the game.
Yeah. The only Vowel they buy is E because that's what they need to be doing. They need to stop trying to fight. Like they tried to take the Blood just tried to take that fight 1v5, but it was really a 3v5. Bully was still down, and people just weren't really in position, and it's forcing them. Like, I want to see someone else engage right now. Blood is engaging. He's walking in, getting low, and there's blowing him up. They need to figure out a way to bait Hippo out and kill him. They bait Hippo out and kill him. That's a 700 gold bounty that they can get, and they get probably the scariest person off the map. Once Tibbers is down, Andy's kind of scary, Lily is kind of scary, Caitlyn's kind of scary. The Darius is going to win them the fight. The Darius needs to die. Plain and simple.
I mean, crucially though, it's only really a 4K gold lead, which it doesn't, I'm sure in game it probably doesn't feel like that, but 4K gold lead is absolutely not insurmountable. I'm sure that Riot HR department feels like they're a lot further ahead at this point, but I think Blood needs to stop looking for as many hero plays as they're actually just going to look for the full trade here.
Yeah, they are. They're going to do that. And by the way, most of that gold is on Hippo, too.
Oh, yeah.
emphasize what I was saying. If Hippo dies, most of their gold advantage goes out the window, plus the reset potential. That's not to say Speedy on his best champion can't still run over a fight.
By the way,
all told.
I have not even talked about this Caitlyn build at all. This is
It's
quite an interesting Caitlyn build. I don't really know what to make of it. I feel like this is probably not the most efficient, but I mean, hey, it's working. He is mostly participating with his ultimate, which gets a lot of value from the lethality. But at the same time, I think if he's comfortable just to lay traps, look for follow-up plays, and let Hippo do the rest, I think that's his role, and I think that's totally okay.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that because it's not a traditional AD carry build. It's not what you typically see out of Caitlyn. Caitlyn's she's an auto attack bot, and in this situation, Speedy's looking to chunk pretty hard.
Ooh, actually, that Annie ult coming through, doing a lot of damage to the Vladimir, able to force the issue off of that. Now, actually, Control getting super slowed by that Rylai slow. Oh my goodness, the Lilia actually is doing so much damage with that burn, and they are just be able to force it down on that red side inhibitor. As the health bars get low, they get poked out, and they're just going to do the same down here in the bottom lane.
And it's great to see them working as a team and snowballing the game. They didn't overstay after they dropped the inhibitor. They didn't do the usual will they, won't they dance of, oh, we're going to get another turret. No, they immediately, as a team, rotated bot, grabbed the inner. They can go get a reset. They have all the time in the world. And several of them have 1,000 to 2,000 volts. So great reset, well timed. There's nothing else on the map. Control at least going to grab whatever scraps they can in their jungle, and then I see Riot HR department just walking this one in, either top side or bot side. It's their choice.
Yeah, and there's that Goldie ballooning now, and actually this is tank Lilia with the Jack Show plus the demonic, and it looks like he's going to build toward what's that blasting wand giant spell.
This is scary.
Yeah,
sorry, I gotta say this is a little scary though because Hippo's walking up. They don't have a ton of vision in the top side. This is where, if they're gonna throw the game, this is where it could get a little dicey. Where Hippo gets dove by like multiple people, and then there's life in Control.
Exactly.
So I want to call that out.
Yeah, no, for sure. And he is kind of exposed right now, and it looks like, yep, they're going to respond right now. They're going to look forward toward that top side. Hippo, I mean, he's strong enough where if he plays it perfectly, he doesn't actually have any summoners where they are able to punish it, but he is going to get a sniff out on that and get the back on that. Looks like bot side is already pushing in favor of Riot HR department.
That was their chance. I actually think for Control at the lead, I think that was their chance. If they had hard beelined up the brush, it looked like they were kind of dancing a little bit, maybe a little bit of discussion. If they had been able to hard commit, pop Hippo quick, because that's the thing with the Darius, right? If you need to lock him up, you need to pop him. Otherwise, to your point, all the sustain and the reset potential with that many squishy targets, that's super scary.
Right. And here comes the Cledel coming in, and they're going to be looking for the hard engage. They know that Hippo's not here, but they're going to go on the rest of the team, as actually Grenade is getting ultra low. Control's doing a lot of damage though, but Lilia is just running at the speed of light. They might get the shutdown here on Annie, and Black gets both of those. Really nice looks. The cleanse coming through. Here comes the Gale Force as well. Fighting just dodged by Lucian. What a play by Lucian, but he just gets absolutely blown up by the Lily, who's still running around at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The Ferrari running here down the Ferrari gear, as Morgana is going to keep helping supporting him, but Clay does so much damage as well. The Morgana finally coming through. Lilia might look for a turn, as actually here comes the Vlad here to support him, and Morgana might get the shutdown. Very nice job, as this fight is so extended. Nocturne is responding up there in the top lane, but Vladimir might just die. He's going to be able to press the W button, and he's going to have his Q back up. No! He's going to get killed! And Bunny Remix dancing around with Lemon, the two-man showdown here in the bot lane with the 2v3, as meanwhile Hippogriff is just happily pushing in the top lane. There's nothing they can do to support, and he's just taking this other inhib.
Yo, Lemon, take a bow. I feel like everybody gave Lemon so much crap last week after he was playing, and Lemon's been great. He's been landing all the bindings he needs to land. The win condition for him is clear. Morgana is not an easy champion to play, and against a bot lane that on paper should kick the absolute crap out of his positioning mistakes, he's played incredibly well. He's been hitting binding after binding.
Absolutely.
Great play by him.
A little bit out of position there is forced to splash, but at the same time, yeah, he has played an absolutely stellar game.
Oh, he's
I think there's
he's feeling it.
It's absolutely a confidence thing with Lemon. As soon as he starts building a little bit of momentum, he's playing really, really well.
Yeah, and you gotta give credit. It's not easy to go up against players, especially people like Control, who are, they're mid to high diamond. They will punish every little step that you are out of position on. As we see Dragon, next Dragon's gonna be next Dragon's coming up now. So yeah, this is gonna be Soul.
This is Soul.
Easy.
Yes.
And they should be able to roll that into a siege.
Ocean Soul against the Darius is gonna be really scary to deal with. They have healing reduction on the Nami. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Oh, as we have a little bit of a DC action happening here. But, yep. Ooh, there's the pause coming in. But he looks like he just reconnected. This is very unfortunate timing. You're actually not allowed to pause during a fight. So I'm not really sure if there's going to be...
I don't think that's a fight. I don't think they were quite fighting yet. They were... I didn't see any major abilities fire.
Yeah, but the problem is that everyone's just shown. And so so absolutely, like, everyone knows that the Vlad is there. I think they might, I don't know where the vision is, but I think they might know that the Kled is coming in as well. It's just a very awkward position to be in. At the same time, I mean, we can kind of take a look at just some other numbers in the meantime. Looking at the CS numbers, this is looking pretty darn in favor of Control-Alt-Delete, but it's all that, the neutral objectives, all of the difference on the map there, that's really kind of, it's really kind of done it.
Yeah, and I mean, we could talk about the builds too, right? We've got a 4-item Darius. He finished his Death Stance. He's got Sterix as well, so he is incredibly hard to kill, and that's where this gets really scary. Also, a quick note: there's a lot of Rylai's love on this, and in the chase down. I mentioned it before. Looking at the actual champion select, Control-Delete should have better chase down with the Kled, the Nocturne, Flat Ghost, Lucian Super Mobile, Nami chase down, all that stuff.
We're back into it. Here we go. Breaking out into the Ghost coming on from Darius. He's going to go straight onto Lucian. Lucian's in fast towards the flat right now. As the rest of the fight is happening around them, Morgana gets a really nice ult. It's very one to land on the stand out too. As Andy cleans up, Darius is just running rampant on the backside. There goes the Nami, and here comes the Kled. He is all on his lonesome. Lucian has managed to somehow evade, but at the same time, Nocturne is in the back of the pit, looking super sad as Annie and the Darius zone out the Lucian, and that is a 1 for 4 in favor of in favor of Riot HR department. Really chaotic, really messy, but the Darius is just impossible to deal with, and the Annie is just doing so much work.
Yeah, the Annie is just setting up the Darius beautifully. This combination, I love this combination from Hippo and Talon, and I would expect us to definitely see a Darius ban in game 2. There's no way they're going to give Hippo back Darius, and I think they're going to revisit a couple of those. Bans before, because I think they took away his Fiora, and they took away his Yone. If I'm Control-Delete, I'm perfectly happy with him on a Yone. I'm perfectly happy with him on a Fiora. Absolutely do not.
Oh no! Don't do it. Oh, okay.
Oh, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna look for more.
Yeah, there's the end of the game. They're going to try and save it, but I think it's going to be over here.
Yeah.
Right after our department takes the first game after some dominant roaming performances coming from this side of the Annie, coming from the Bunny Remix, just placing a lot of pressure. And honestly, Hippo getting out of lane, making something happen mid-game. They looked really, really good. What do you think?
I think that Hippo needs to not see Darius. he's really good on it. He's very comfortable on it. Yeah, #1 damage by pretty far, only to be almost eclipsed by Talon mid. Big Shadow, who like you said, was not on the burst bout. I believe he went for I think that was a Banshee's Veil as his next item. So he was just going to set up his team. And yeah, Bunny Remix on the Lilia. That's his second most played champion. We saw it in the last series against Control-Alt-Delete. So with Kindred off the table, yeah, they looked really good. Everybody on the side of the Riot HR department did their jobs, and were able to set things up really, really nice. If I'm Control-Alt-Delete, I'm gonna take a good look, say, all right, what adjustments do I make on champion select? I think they had a lot of opportunities. I may look at having Control get something a little bit more snowbally. I think Lucian is a lane bully, but he may not snowball as hard as something like a Jinx, and I don't believe Jinx was banned, so that was an option for them if they wanted to take it.
Absolutely. Definitely some adjustments needed to be made. Bunny Remix is bringing a different dimension to a Riot HR department, and we'll see what Control-Alt-Delete is going to do when we get back. We'll see you in a bit. All right, and welcome back, everyone. We are deep into a series between Riot HR Department and Control Alt Delete. One game in. Riot HR Department is one game up. I'm Box. I'm here with Jaws. Jaws, how you doing?
Oh man, I am still catching my breath from that last one. Actually, that's not true. I did nothing. You carried that cast so hard. Like
Hey, man,
these
you
people
gave me a
were
break.
these people were cruel. They were vicious. They were not very well. They were both caster friendly and caster cruel because you had a lot of stuff to cover. I think the average time between fights was maybe 30 seconds.
Oh,
It was
that's
just
that's pretty generous. I feel like we were talking about
maybe.
it was a little bit slower, and then all of a sudden it was just like dynamite.
Yeah, but I think the if I'm Control Alt Delete, I think the plan is clear. Ban the Darius. The
Oh yeah,
Darius was in, and it's something. It's funny. We had the exact same conversation when we competed against Hippo last season. Darius changes the game. It changes the map state. It changes how you fight. You have to kill him first. You have to apply pressure to him first. You have to do all of these things that just change what you want to do. So if I'm them, I take it off the table. But the challenging thing for these bans is they now have 3 very specific targeted bans to make. They have to ban Talon, they have to ban Kindred, and they have to ban Darius, in my opinion.
yeah,
Which
and that
leaves
really
up a
throws
lot
a
of
wrench
space.
in. Exactly. And I mean, I think the problem is then you really are kind of in a bind here, right? So you have the Kindred out, you have the Talon out, and then really you're only working with one first phase band where now they have to find maybe an answer on their side of the draft to these champions that they're seeing.
Yeah, and something else that I want to see from Control Alt Delete is I want control on a champion on one of his more traditional style of like mid laners. Not obviously he's not going to play a mid laner like Victor Bot. I mean he could if he
A little more
wanted to, but
scaly.
yeah, something that you can just take over a fight.
Right.
Like we saw that in I believe it was game 1 on the Jinx, and he drew a ban game 2. I want to see him on the Jinx. I think he should run Jinx unless they ban it. Jinx is very strong in this meta. Execute potential, reset potential, all the things that will set Control up to do work. And yeah, I guess maybe they were like, oh, we see the Annie. Absolutely not. I do not want to Jinx into an Annie. I can totally understand that as a concern.
For sure.
But then I'm looking at Bully and I'm wondering, can Bully pick a support like a Lulu or someone like that who can help keep Jinx alive, can counter the burst? Because Riot HR Department has made it very clear what they want to do. They want a classic Moscow 5, see hero, kill hero. And I want to see what Control Delete could do to counter it. That's going to be shields, heals, and what have you. That's got to come from the support. And then I gotta call out the Nocturne pick. I don't think it was that effective, and I want to see Tony on something else.
I agree. I honestly think like it was an issue of comp, like you said. I think they just didn't quite have the answers, and it was also an issue of those early moves. I kind of like harped on a little bit earlier when I was saying that they weren't generating the kind of gold lead that they needed. But I think the tempo that they pushed, the objective, and just map control that they were able to take from those roams, it was almost more of a mental thing where it choked Control Alt Delete from being able to do anything actually. And so as a result, they were able to take a lot of advantages. They were able to push a lot of force a lot of plays through that maybe otherwise wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, that's absolutely something that we can call out is just the tempo. Talon Mid, welcome to TCL. This is what we've been waiting for from him. He's a Masters level player. He knows how to suffocate a map and grab a roam heavy champion. Can insta delete and take advantage of a mistake, and he is Masters tier at exploiting those mistakes. They may get rid of the Annie. I did hear a Darius. Sorry, there's Talon's ban. They're going to stick with the Gragas ban. Interesting. I'm curious who they're targeting with that Gragas ban. I wonder if it's Tony with the jungler.
It's probably Tony, most likely.
Yeah.
I think Gragas is a pretty strong jungler in the hands of a lot of different TCL players. I think there's a lot of people that have kind of made their bones, so to speak, on Gragas. But before we get too far away from it, I really want to shout out Lemon. I think Lemon on the Morgana has looked really good. I mean, he had a little bit of a rough time in lane because that's a little bit of a harder lane for them to play out. But once he got into the mid late game, some of his bindings, his black shields, his timings on when he was looking for his ultimate, man, was really the difference maker there.
Yeah, it's the bindings, right? That's Morgana. That's how she makes her money. And especially with that composition, you land one good binding, they're dead. There's nothing to do. What you're also doing. Interesting. Wukong.
There's the Jinx. Yeah, and there's actually the Morgana adaptation, just like you were saying.
Okay.
So the Darius is up. The Lilia is up. The Annie is up.
I don't know if there's anything that J-Bob can play or that they can team comp around that would stop the Darius. So I'd be very surprised if Hippo didn't pick it before the second wave of bans. He has to pick it before the second wave of
Oh, for
bans.
sure. It's definitely not going to make it through, too.
They might be debating that right now. It's like, do we just first pick it? Because they could.
I think they maybe think they have an answer. That's the only way that they leave this through. And they're like, okay, the Morgana is becoming too much of a problem if we want to engage onto people, so we just get rid of the Morgana.
I'm interesting that Ezreal, because Caitlyn's up. They could just first pick Caitlyn. Caitlyn's great. Speedy was fine on Caitlyn.
I mean, I don't know if Speedy was necessarily. I think he's thinking I could have just done what I was doing on Caitlyn on a better champion for that role. Because look at what he was doing. He was setting traps. He was following up on plays. He was basically ulting for a lot of these fights. Yeah. And I think Ezreal is just a better champion if that's the role you wanted to fill.
I was thinking more of it from the safety perspective, right? I mean, yeah, Ezreal can Q farm from downtown if he really needs to, but in terms of the ability to kind of counteract what they want to do to you, okay, interesting.
I like it.
I will say, Bully has been running Taric. It is something that they ran in duos, so this is something that they have practiced before. It also makes Darius really, really, really unattractive because you could just Taric ult.
Not going to reset. Yeah.
No resets.
Oh, and there's that Annie right away. They're just going to run that back. I think they're really happy with how that Annie went. And like you said, the Taric maybe is their champion answer. So even if he gets a little bit out of control in lane, and ultimately, I don't actually think he got really that out of control in lane. I think it's when he started roaming, started getting into things like the bot lane, where he really started to snowball. And that's when Taric is going to be able to kind of counter that.
Yeah, I'm going to say specifically, I mentioned this earlier, I think he got where he wanted to get to. He did what he needed to do for his team. Okay, so they're gonna I guess they just want to let it through. So either they're not gonna pick Darius, or Darius is gonna get banned in the second wave of bans.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Soraka. I just find it interesting that there's clearly something in Lemon's head that they're gonna ban me out. They're gonna ban me out. They're gonna ban me out. That's what I keep seeing. Mordekaiser, that's a great grab before the second wave because J-Bop can pretty much play that into anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's necessarily Lemon's call. I think that what they like with the draft flexibility is they're like, okay, we'll just pick bot lane early. We're totally cool with any bans coming through, but we just want to be able to see and maybe counter at least one more lane. I think that's the mentality that Riot HR department are having, and they're like, hey, the draft works last time. We don't need to switch it up too much either way. The really concerning thing that I might have going into the bot lane is if there's any sort of kill pressure. I don't know if they necessarily have a ton onto the Kai'Sa Taric. But Taric standing in a bush, if Lemon walks into the wrong bush, he might just get stunned and kind of one shot. Stacking up the passive with Kai'Sa and kind of taking a lot of damage, but we'll see how it happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'll withhold judgment because I know that Soraka is one of Lemon's favorite champions. For sure. It's also Soraka, she can do a lot without a ton of risk, right? You can just press your buttons. Through.
Oh my goodness, they banned the Fiora Darius. Okay. They're just gonna, or Fiora Yone, they're just gonna leave it.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. I have an opinion about this, but I will hold it until later to see if number one he picks it, and then number two if they are punished for it, and if those two things happen, Box, remind me because I have a thought on this. Because I know how Blood feels about Darius specifically, as we see Lee Sin as the final ban, LeBlanc being hovered. I mean, you could if you really wanted to.
It's so interesting because with the Lilia and the Darius make it through, they must have a very clear response. They're like, okay, if they pick Darius, this is exactly how we're going to play the game out. And I wonder if maybe Riot HR are going to read that and still be like, hey, Darius went so well, we don't care.
Yeah, they might. There's the B-fall. Okay, yes, I like this out of Tony a lot more than I liked the previous pick. Yeah. They needed it. They need the engage. They needed the CC, and they just didn't have it because Blood was getting kited constantly. And I think that's the conversation. Is Blood's like, hey, if I get one layer of hard CC on top of it, there's the Lilia. Yep. Yeah. Not surprised. That's the second pick. Did great on it.
And there's the Darius. Yeah, that's kind of what we were saying. Where they threw these picks at the Fiora, through these bans, at the Fiora Yone, and we've talked about how, hey, Lilia's still up, Darius is still up, and they're just gonna 4-5 the same picks. So they basically have effectively the same comp, just like a slightly different bottom lane.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of with this composition. I understand why they would pick Soraka, but there's nothing really in this composition that's just going to blow you up, right? Soraka's great counter burst. There's nothing really in here. Kai'Sa can burst, but she's going to, she's more of the I'm going to pop off in a fight, get my stacks, do cool stuff like that. If they lock in Caitlyn,
this is just Reform Bully being Reform Bully, that's for sure. Yeah. see what the last pick actually ends up being. Gangplank. So that is that's Gangplank mid, actually, it looks like. Yeah, and it's going to be Mordekaiser top.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like the global pressure. This is yeah, and Blood's a great Gangplank. He's a really strong Gangplank player. And so he's going to try to see what he can do to apply that global pressure. Strong scaling once again, but something I did want to call out on the side of Talon Mid and Hippo and that team, they don't have as much hard CC. That's what I liked about the Morgana. It's less about that Soraka is, brings safety, brings health, counterburst. They don't really have. I mean, it does make the Gangplank less attractive because you can just heal up his barrel. But a barrel onto Soraka is just gonna nuke her, right? And Blood's gonna get his farm. He's gonna do those invisible barrels. I don't like the lack of hard CC on the side of Riot HR Department.
I mean, something that's kind of sneaky as well is that Gangplank can just cleanse the Annie-stun. As soon as Annie goes in, Annie can't initiate on Gangplank as easily as he did last game, because as soon as he lands the stun, Gangplank just eats his oranges and just walks away.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing. Same goes true.
And also, I was going to say, related to that, just to build on that, every single one of the people on their team, I think they're like, okay, we know what comp they're going to run. Let's just all pick champions that we like, that synergize well, that also make their lives hell. Because none of these people are easy targets. I think the closest is the Kai'Sa, maybe. But everybody else is going to build a lot beefier. That's going to be harder for Talon Mid to go the Leandri's Rylai's build that he wanted to. He's going to have to go a lot more burst. And that's going to put a lot more pressure onto the Ezreal to get rolling and the Darius to get rolling.
Absolutely.
And they made some mistakes early. They could have been exploited. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think the lack of CC is going to bite them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the name of the game is going to be that first 15 minutes. Depending on how much we see RHR actually roaming around, taking advantage of those timings, even if they're not the best timings in the entire world, but just taking advantage to bring as many people to as many plays as possible. I think that was really the main strength that they had in the game one. I think the real question is, are Control Alt Delete going to be able to respond to that? Are they going to sniff out some of those plays or make more proactive plays themselves?
Yeah, I mean that is the question. I mean, Control Delete, to their credit, their late game is nasty. Their late game is really, really nasty.
Totally.
And
the Gangplank GP, the GP Kai'Sa Mord, that's so much damage.
Yeah, and what they can do is they can isolate if they really, really have to. They can J-Bob can die for his team's sins and go, all right, guys, I'll take the Darius. Y'all go win the fight.
That's true, and especially with the Taric.
Just two-way. Yeah, so they could just be game planning this really hard and say, all right, we're just gonna take the Soraka off the map. That's a great question. Does Soraka ult go through Death Realm?
No, he basically kidnaps him from the map.
Okay, so that's another. There's a lot of different ways that they could use the Mordekaiser, and because they didn't ban it, because of the the additional ban pressure, that's one of J-Bob's best champions. He leaned on it heavily, I think, until it was banned, and then had to go onto something else. So he has a lot of interesting targets. I probably wouldn't grab the Darius, but yeah, you can grab Soraka.
Yeah.
And then
good options, yeah.
Instant 4v4. He's gonna pop her quick. They don't have the sustain. And Taric, and the other thing I was thinking about, Taric ult buys time for that Mordekaiser duel to finish. So there's a lot of really cool ways that they can drag these fights out and make Riot HR Department be a little bit more patient. And I think if they force that longer game and slow the tempo down, I think number one, you're going to have a lot less to talk about, which, hit or miss. But more importantly, I think we'll see if the cracks in the air, because usually, Hippo historically gets impatient. I have no idea if Talon Mid's bloodthirsty. I don't know if he's going to get impatient, but they clearly like to push the tempo, and they were feeling good when they were.
Absolutely. And I think it's one of those things where you look at how these teams have been playing, you look at how the comps interact, and it's really a toss-up. I don't even know where we're gonna go in this direction. So fortunately, we have a whole game to play out. We get to see. But what are you thinking kind of ahead of it?
I think we're going to see some scrapes. I actually think I think Control Alt Delete has made the adjustments that I wanted them to make. And I love the fact that they made me eat crow, because I was like, oh, they didn't ban Darius, WTF. And then they built an entire composition built around making Darius's life miserable.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you bring up a lot of great points there. I'm actually going to agree with you on this one. I think we're probably going to see some scrapes on the Rift today. At the same time, no more 5-pointing. They say we're going to go for that 5-man instead, down through the bottom lane. Maybe catch out an unsuspecting Ezreal here, as Soraka is up there in the safer spot for this play. They might be, ooh, they're going to get sniffed out. As actually, Ezreal, I think, might have just walked right by. They're going to see him right now, and he's kind of caught out in no man's land. Tark going to go for the E, actually forcing the E himself out of the Ezreal, and they're going to support this play. Annie is now here as well with the Soraka, but the top side of the map is still top side. Soraka now here. It is kind of an awkward spot, places the ward. They're going to get the warding down, and the information on where everyone is, but actually top lane, Hippogriff and Bunny not invading it for vision on their own respective side, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, and you see the pings going down on the red buff from Control Delete saying, hey, check it out. There might be vision there. Just be careful. So great communication, but I think that gives bot lane Prio to control and bully. That is, he's not going to be able to Q farm safely, which is going to create. Speedy's not going to be able to Q farm safely, which is going to create opportunities for bully to just, through pure spacing, being able to just walk up, go for the stun, and potentially get some big chunks out, because Lemon can't do anything early. Like this lane, this lane really scares me, because Ezreal and Soraka is one of the most anemic bot lanes in terms of laning pressure. They have almost no laning pressure. They're gonna and now he doesn't have Q. This is really scary.
Yeah, especially with the E start on the Ezreal, it's good, not ideal, that's for sure. But honestly, not the worst thing in the entire world. I don't think there's going to be too much really happening early in this bottom lane, unless Tark is able to land a really kind of pretty busted stun. But really, it's going to be kind of a pretty sleeper of a lane. But as Kai'Sa's getting a really nice trade though, at the same time waits for the minions to go low, and he knows that Ezreal can't do anything to him.
Yeah, and it's just Lemon. We'll see, right? This is pure perceived risk, right? Lemon could, but he's already positioning super aggressively, and okay, they're let's see, get the level 2. They're pretty close.
There it is.
Yeah,
Tark's gonna walk in. He's gonna look for a stun as well. Gets the stun over onto Lemon as well. Lemon might actually have to go for the early flash here as well. There, he's gonna get the full damage and the exhaust away from the flash on Lemon, and man, that is a bad early trade. Nice stun from Reformed Bully, using the Ignite, trading 2 sums for 1.
All right, Bully, thank you for making me look smart. That was what I was worried about.
Ooh, but here's the Lilia. Actually, Lilia just goes buff, or camp, straight into bottom lane. I wonder if Zach has information on this very nice stun coming out from actually the Taric. And man, this is looking pretty bad down here in the bottom lane. Actually, Taric might be getting a little bit low, forced to flash out himself, but Control almost trades a kill. Actually, as here, we see here in the top lane, it's first blood. Darius getting full stacks on him, flashing in for the first blood kill. Up 5 CS and now up a kill.
Ooh, that's not good. that's not where J-Bob wants to be, and that's definitely not where Control-Alt-Delete wants to be. And hey, I'm all about game planning around a specific champion, but Hippo is just one of those players where the greater the margin for error on his champion, right? The more mistakes he can make and still be effective, the stronger he's going to be. And Darius is one of those champions where you can make a lot of mistakes and still. And still be effective, right? And so that's the thing that scares me about the Darius. Not scares me, but more for Control-Alt-Delete. If I'm Riot HR department, I'm like, yeah, dude, run that Darius until they ban it, because that's what he gets to do. He gets 1 kill in lane, and then the lane's pretty much over. Like J-Bob's not gonna be able to walk near a mini wave. He's gonna have to farm it or turret.
Here comes Tony. Nope, he's gonna not fully charge that last 16 shot and go in. I mean, I want to kind of bounce off that and say that I think one of the things is you cannot reward somebody from not taking TB, right? And the thought process, I think, is that if he's going to go Ghost, he's going to go Ghost Flash on the Darius. He now is just stronger in lane. He has many more angles and opportunities to actually look for kills. So you just can't be put in a position where you're rewarding that with those kills.
Yeah, exactly. You need to play passive. You need to be careful. And I'll bet J-Bob thought he did.
Oh man, he's going to be able to get another kill there. There's the Ghost going. There's the passive ticking in. That is full stacks once again. Is he able to trade a kill back? No, he is dead once again on the Mordekaiser. That is just a 2-0 Darius. So scary up here in the top lane. He's going to be able to force down this tower. He's going to be looking extremely strong.
Ouch. That's rough.
Yeah. I don't know what else you can really say about that. There's that Ghost coming through, the flash coming through, and each one sum translating to 1 kill is a pretty good exchange rate, I gotta say.
I hate Darius so much as a champion. So watching this play out, it's like no, don't go. It's like the horror movie. No, don't go into the. Oh, I'm just gonna go check out this room. It's like no, don't go into the room. Like don't walk up to the wave. Don't let him in. Don't let him into the game. And yeah, this is what happens. I've seen this. I've been in this movie before.
Absolutely.
And it's not a fun movie to be in.
Everyone who has ever played top lane has experienced this Darius. This is true enemy team's Darius energy right now. This is just so scary to deal with.
Yeah, well, that being said, as we see...
Gangplank from 4-man down here in the bottom lane. They might be able to looking for a big fight here. No flash onto the rock. I think she's just going to be dead to rights here. Yeah, Control takes the kill. Oh my goodness, but actually Gangplank's getting a little bit low here. Yeah, is forced to flash out, or excuse me, heal out with the Taric heal. He was never actually in any real danger there. Nice 4-man. Now they're the proactive team, but Delia is actually hovering around here, but she's going to be spotted onto the scuttle. Actually, nice. Ooh, forcing the cleanse out. Ezreal must not have his E available. There's the shield, and now Control doing a lot of damage in return. Excellent look, although, oh my goodness, this top lane. J-Bob taking once again another trade, as it's actually looking really good for him. Hippo might just give away the shutdown to him. Actually, no. Oh no, he gets the axe Q and he dies yet again. This is so close to being so okay. Oh, as actually Control flashes in, just misses the Taric stun. Now he's in a little bit of a bad spot. Gets the exhaust on him now, and there's the Gangplank ult over to help him support. Actually, it looks like Ezreal is going to be here to help him almost finish that kill, as actually the Taric stun goes wide, and now 1 HP, low HP bars, and now he is just going to be death by 1,000 cuts, and every play is just going wrong for Control Alt Elite. It could not be a worse situation now here, and they are getting BM'd on top of it.
Oh, that's just salt in the wound. Yeah, almost 2,000 gold lead, 6 minutes in, or almost 7 minutes in. First dragon, that's going to be easy peasy for them. They're going to heal up. Yeah, just a little bit of an overextension on the bot side. I think they thought they had it, and just a couple of missed skill shots.
I mean, if either of those Taric stuns had landed, the one that was attached to Control and then the one that was attached to Taric, if either of those had landed, that fight goes completely differently, because then Ezreal's out of the fight right away, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and they were all fairly low. They're going to try to come in and clean this one up.
No flash still on the... Actually, Lemon, oh, he is like 5 seconds on the flash. Ezreal's able to E back out. They do get the dragon, but they trade Lemon's life for it.
Okay, I mean, it's a little something, right? They're able to kind of slow this snowball from rolling, but they, you know, the thing they're not going to be able to stop is the Darius in the top side. You know, couple of shining lights of hope is that you know, Kai'Sa's got that nice mid-game spike, so we'll have to see once she starts kind of getting some of her powers rolling. Gangplank, you know, once he starts getting, you know, once his ultis start rolling, one or two of those, or 1 or 2 barrels, they're going to be able to pop it. The question is going to be how high quality are they going to be able to get the Taric ulti to stop the Darius resets? And can they get something rolling before this Darius gets out of control? They have to figure out a way to punish Hippo before he does what he did to the last game. Otherwise, this game is going to get out of control very, very fast.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that this game is by no means snowballed out of control at this point in the game, right? And I think historically, it's nice to see that Blood's teams have always maintained more of an even keel, I think, in terms of playing the game out, playing it proactively, and we're really still seeing that occur. Yeah, like, okay, they're in a hole. They're in honestly a pretty bad hole, especially in the top side of the map, but they just slow it down. Oh no, as we actually up here in the top lane, looks like Hippo's going to go for another pull. He's going to start stacking up, and he might just be dead. No, J-Bob forced the flash out right away. You got to keep those bushes warded. This is the Darius in the bush, the Darius hiding under the bed. You just cannot be trusting anything that you see.
Yep, go farm under turret, and then go ask your jungler for Krugs. That's probably gonna be what this is gonna be looking like. Because you know, you say, hey guys, this lane's over. I'm gonna last as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, Darius has almost double his gold.
I will Krug to the best of my ability. But yeah, if Darius ghosts or gets one grab on him, he can definitely 100-0 him, and J-Bob is not full health. There is no flash. Yeah, maybe he'll get a bonk, but yeah, he's going to be Q farming until they can get him out of lane, and that's going to put way more pressure on Blood. Blood wants to.
Ooh, gank down here in the bottom lane. Zach gets really nice jump onto him, as actually there's that early Soraka flash going over the wall. Control gets another kill. Flash coming in for flash out from the Reform Bully Taric. Nice looks, especially with the GPL coming over top.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need to do, right? They need to accelerate this game state as fast as they possibly can, so they can go 5-man gank top and go get that mini shutdown. And Blood, I'm curious.
The Lilia coming mid lane. That's another gank. Jungler for jungler. Early flash, no stun actually onto the Tibbers. As actually Ezreal, I wonder if he has ultimate available. He does not have the E, as Control gets yet another kill. Is he going to die from this? No, the Taric stun heal actually hitting saving him, and here comes that Rift Herald, giving all that gold back toward the bottom side as we see the gold lead actually start to equilibrate. Yes, it's an 1,800 gold lead in the top lane, but it's actually a similar deficit in the bottom lane. Lily is now here responding. Actually, Lily, I don't know if she's going to be able to make anything happen. She does have ultimate available, but so does Tark. Actually, Lily might just be giving her life here as well, but no. 3-man Lily ult, and man flash coming in, and there goes the Zac passage, there goes the Tark. Kai'Sa was dead to Rice to begin with, and Hippo is here. He is absolutely online, and man, that is a double kill and 3 kills in total. Nice roam coming from Hippogriff plus the jungler. And
oh my god,
5-man.
That lullaby from Bunny was absolute. That should be illegal. That was disgusting. Because Bully dropped a great ult. I thought, oh yeah, they're gonna be fine. I didn't even notice because of the ult graphic. I didn't even notice the drowsy. Yeah. And then they all just boom asleep. And as soon as he got all 3 of them. Yep. And then yeah, Hippo comes in. It's clean up city, easy peasy, no problem.
In like a perfect line for the Annie as well. Annie flashing in with her W and just chaining that CC on top of CC, so the Tark ult duration basically is completely nullified.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Oh, let's see. Bunny might be a little out of position.
Missing from the Tark, but Zac is not able to follow up on this. All that move speed from Lilia passive, just following up, and she is gonna be just fine, stealing that blue buff and getting out.
Lily's so annoying. She's so fast.
I know, right?
It's just, he just can't. He's just flying around, and that's the. I mean, that is the pressure of the. That is the pressure of, like, you know, you have to ban Talon, you have to ban Kindred, and Bunny's no slouch on Lilia. Yeah. But
she's still here.
Yeah, the positives for Control Delete is that they're getting really good pressure bot side, and they are accelerating.
This is bad as well. Tark might be caught out of position now without any sort of ultimate. He is in a looking bad shape. Lily just shows up once again in the bottom lane, farms her Krubs, takes the blue buff, and man, Bunny Remix's pathing has been such a difference maker this game and last game.
Yeah, it really has, and especially with top lane being pretty much all she wrote. I mean, good. J-Bob's doing a great job, like, just staying alive and just making sure that he stops the bleeding, so credit to him. But because they know that nobody's going to be going top, right? They know that, like, Hippo, just keep doing your thing. They can go somewhere else.
Here in the middle lane, Zac going over onto the Annie Gangplank ult coming through. There's the barrel, but the Gangplank's getting a little bit low with the Tibbers. I don't know if they're going to be able to force this out too much further. As actually Gangplank's going to die to the Tibbers, and the heal coming through from Soraka saves him, and now she is absolutely A-okay. There is no danger of death here. Tibbers doing the work of 2 and taking care of the Gangplank in response to that gank.
Yep, and thanks, Lemon, making me eat my words once again. Soraka's pretty effective. You know, that was great, right? Annie, I thought Annie was absolutely going to die, but yeah, the burn down from the Tibbers just absolutely just. I think Blood probably underestimated the Tibbers damage because he definitely tunneled in on that kill, and then the last minute Wombulance made sure that they were able to keep things going. So yeah, this is
look for the Ezreal here as well. But here's Lily in support as well, and once again has the ultimate. Doesn't quite land it, but now gets it, the Drowsy over onto Kai'Sa. Does have cleanse available to him, so he's going to be able to look for the turn. And man, this is so sad. It is just 1 HP bars all the time for Riot HR department. It happened earlier in the lane, and it's happening again. And this is just a nightmare for Kai'Sa, who's not able to snowball.
Yeah, no, she really can't. She's got 3 minutes on that cleanse. Cleanse being spammed in chat, so they're going to try to time the next. They're going to try to chain the next Lilia Lullaby off of that. 2,000 gold lead is holding strong though, and it's been a 2,000 gold lead for a while. But the global objectives are definitely starting to go into the Riot HR department's favor. They're running their way towards a soul, and yeah, and Gangplank.
Hippogriff is roaming once again here, but this time they also have Soraka. I think Gangplank might just be dead to rights. He doesn't have flash quite available just yet, and he's going to be ulted and gone. Gangplank timer flash not quite there, and he is dead. What a nice roam. Hippogriff is turning this gold lead in his lane into gold leads in other lanes as well.
Alright, I'm going to say the thing I was going to say in Champion Select. A lot of times Blood...
Ooh, nice! Forcing the cleanse out of Ezreal, landing a nice target prediction stun as actually Ezreal is going to get popped by the Kraken Slayer plus the Kai'Sa passive. Very nice looks. Clawing a little bit of that gold lead back. The Essence Reaver on this Ezreal thought he had the advantage, but it just wasn't there.
No, yeah, and this is what they need, right? Control needs to get going. He's 4-2-1. He is the bright spot on this team. His Mythic is finished. He's got the Kraken Slayer, so he's going to be able to do what he does, but Kai'Sa is a,
I think he maybe dies
champion. Here. Definitely going to take this bot turret, which is great. Something I will say is that
that's unbelievably positive.
No, it's huge, right? And if she absolutely can pop off, they just need to figure out a way to fight without that Darius, and figure out how to exploit, to your point, the fact that Darius does not have teleport. If they can maybe bait out the ghosts or bait out one or two summoners or catch him out of position, that's the game plan. But once again, it changes the way that they run their macro. They have to take Darius off the map, all that gold, and then try to do something. But I did want to mention, I know Blood's champions like philosophy. Number one, he hates Fiora as a champion. So the Fiora ban makes sense because he absolutely hates Fiora. He's talked to me like, I hate Fiora. She's a stupid champion. And also, like, he is very much his philosophy, which can be a double-edged sword, is the idea of like, hey, like, one champion, like, no champion is.
Ooh, gets the flash out of this Rocco.
Yeah, great flash. Good from Tony. So control at the lead, showing signs of life. But I will say, and then I'll leave it alone. Blood is like, hey, like, they can take their champion. I know this champion well. We can play around it. I honestly think if they get 2-0'd on this, I think that philosophy may need to get revisited.
What really surprises me is that it was the Yone ban instead of the Darius. I thought the Darius ban was just going to be the 5th ban, especially since they didn't first phase it. I think they thought they really had the answer with this Mordekaiser, but I think there was just a couple of plays in the top lane that were really close, but just no cigar, and it ended up really snowballing this Darius much faster than he should have been. And the fact that he was able to get 2 roams off both from the bottom lane and the mid lane that resulted in, was it like 3 kills? Ooh, as there's the gameplay down here, getting caught by both the Lilia and the Ezreal, and Bloodbath and Beyond might just be dead on the backside of this. Yeah, he's definitely dead. He is going to be gone. Lilia's just going to be able to clean him up with the Ezreal. I don't know why you even blow your ult there. He is definitely gone. But ooh, looks for a kill in return, but it's not going to be there. There's nothing to be had on the other side of the map. They might be looking for Darius here. There's no fight. Absolutely. Nice damage in return. Kaisa gets that full 5 proc on, and it barely does a third of his health. Now here comes the rift from the bot side, and that's going to take another outsider turret. As actually, they're going to look for this fight here. Kaisa's doing a lot of damage. Really nice looks against Darius, and actually might have been able to look for a kill if Darius did not have that flash. They're going to get the mid turret in trade, but the Rift Herald is still knocking out down there in the bottom. They're going to look for the return. Actually, Tark is, not going to quite be able to pop it. Oh, they overextend a little bit too much. No Tark out on the Zac, as Darius is just going to be healing up, gets some passive popped onto Zac, and there's nothing for Kaisa left to do but get sandwiched and die to the rest of the enemy team. A little too aggressive from a Reformed Bully, pops the Tarkle a little bit too late, doesn't save himself, and now gets the rest of his team killed. Man, a little bit too much. They just cannot dive that hard onto Hippogriff and on this Darius, and that is another free dragon for Riot HR department.
That's a tough one. That was I don't want to say it was a free mid outer, but I think they definitely could have zoned them off of the mid outer and just taken that. And they're far enough behind, and Hippo has enough gold that he could have absolutely punished that. So making it easy for him by diving between 2 turrets. You just don't have that. You're just not that far ahead. You know, that's the way I look at it. It's like, just take the dubs, right? Take the dubs you can take in this situation, understand your position, and try to work your way back into this game. Because as we said, their late game is bananas.
Yeah, but they got to scale. I was just about to say that. Yeah, they got to scale. They have the GP, who, if he lands one good barrel combo, the objective is over. But they need to get to that point in the first place. GP's not even on 2 items. We're almost 20 minutes into the game, and he's already building straight toward that 4-0-5. With the Tibbers, with this Darius, and they don't have any healing reduction yet to actually deal with the Darius yet. So what's the game plan?
Yeah, and by the way, side note, Silver Serpent's check, he's 18 minutes in, he's got about 180. So he's, I'm going to check if did he upgrade? I don't see that he upgraded. So yeah, this GP's way...
It's not tanky either. They have dealt so much magic damage on the side of Riot HR that he is just going to melt right away, especially at this point. All he has is Merc Treads. Zac is looking for the engage now. They have the flank with the Darius. The Darius is going to ghost in. This is looking very, very bad for the Zac. Lilia is going to flash in, get the Drowsy onto the backline entirely, and there goes Tarek as well, and now Darius is diving for more. That is not the engage that you wanted. The entire Riot HR team is there, and meanwhile, Mordekaiser is stuck farming in the bottom lane. There is nothing to be had there but pain and death and more gold for this Darius.
Well, the good news is Gangplank has incredible wave clear, so if they want to stall this game out, they absolutely can. What they need to stop doing is taking those engages. Oh yeah, Blood going in. Oh, the Wombulance once again. Okay, he gets it.
And gets the kill. Very nice. Almost enough damage to just one shot, but not quite, as actually here comes the Lilia. Is he going to be... Oh, actually smites the minion. Not quite what he wanted to smite, but at the same time, still looking just fine in general.
Gangplank kind of feels like the modern day Anivia, where it's like, if you want to stall out a game, Gangplank is probably the guy to do it.
Just
yeah, like
the worst design.
Yeah, he can just use he can use the ulti, right? Let's say we've got Darius split pushing.
Yeah.
Great. I drop my ulti on the wave. The wave is now gone.
Yeah.
Maybe Darius can face tank the turret, which he could. Similarly, right? If they're getting sieged on, Gangplank can just barrel clear the entire wave once he gets going for free. So there is absolutely a win condition.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope they're having a conversation with Tony, being like, dude, I don't think we can engage on them. Like, I think we need to let them do overextend, punish, and then counter.
Might be looking here. They do see him. However, the Darius is still in the neighborhood. They can't look for anything here, and he is completely safe. I want to point out one thing as well is that Gangplank does have his 2-item core. That Navori's Essence Reaver is kind of what he needs at this point in the game, and it's really not a bad spot to be in. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Navori's gives him so much value, especially stacking with his barrels and the armored penetration there, that he definitely can be the difference maker, but I just don't know if that's going to be enough, especially with no healing reduction up against this Darius Soraka. They really need some.
Well, they need to. Well, if they can blow the Soraka up, if they can pick off Lemon quick, that'll be a good starting point, right? Get one good barrel. The challenging thing is they want Riot Department to siege on them. It's great for blood. In a situation where he has to go barrel fishing in a Baron pit, it could work.
Oh, they're just going to start it up, aren't they?
Yeah, but in an open fight like this is exactly what they want. They want to do the rundown. They want to do the exact same thing they did last time. I think they might just wait for Talon's flash to be up and then go for it, or wait for the ghost to be up, because those are the two things. Darius runs up, grabs it. Talon mid runs up, and
yeah, they're just gonna force this down.
Blood. Oh no, that's an unfortunate back. I think they might just be giving that mid outer. But yeah, this is this is what they're going to look at. Blow all the waves up, and yeah, I think Riot HR Department's just going to look for a pit in an open fight. They want that open fight.
And man, I feel like one thing we haven't talked about is Bunny's engages. Bunny flashing in with the flash Q, getting just huge balls into the enemy team, and just landing these absolutely enormous drowsies. It's almost feeling like the Tarkle isn't doing anything as a result. And that's through no fault of Reform Bully. That's just the fact of like what Lily is doing against this team.
Yeah, I think that we're thinking about it from the perspective of getting preventing the Darius resets. But unfortunately, when you get engaged on that fast, it really doesn't matter. Dragon is coming out. Baron is up. I'm kind of curious what they want to do. I don't know if they know what they want to do. Seems they're kind of running around, resetting, farming. Yeah. I'm not seeing a sense of urgency here, and they're also not clearing vision. There's control ward sitting. Oh, sorry, no, they do have good vision control on Baron. So either they're not in a hurry. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be setting up for Dragon, and that's probably going to be the next big fight. They got to get some poke off.
It's crazy because Darius at this point in the game is he's like 1,700 gold clear of anybody else in the game. He has so much money. He's so rich. So I think it's one of those things where it's like they're okay because they know that they have enough of a lead where they don't need to force anything. They're just playing objective timers. They're playing for this next soul point where they know that they have to pop. Zach is actually going in. There's the Tarkle happening now. Hippo's isolated, but there's no damage to be had, especially with this rocket keeping him alive. As actually, just gets the dunk, and he's now going to be just resetting with all of this health and healing behind him. As actually Lilia's going to be going on the backside now. There's the Lilia coming through, the Clem's coming through, but there's nothing for Control to do. They're going to chase Gangplank on the front side of that, and yeah, there's nothing to be done there. They really have no ability to fight.
That's rough. That's going to be Soul. Uncontested. J-Bop had teleport up as well, so I'm kind of surprised that he stayed top.
These are 4v5s.
Yeah, exactly. That was a 4v5, and we talked about the theoretical value of the Mordekaiser, which is him being able to take someone like a Darius, or maybe a Lilia, or a Soraka, or whomever they deem to be the threat, off the table. They haven't had a chance to do that, and part of that is that J-Bop hasn't really been in that situation because he wasn't with the team. And the other thing is that these fights are just ending too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think because Zach kind of initiated that fight, it sounds like a case of the teams just not being on the same page. Like, clearly, I wonder if there's really what the comms are looking like. If there's a comm that like, hey, I'm going in, hey, I'm looking for this angle, I'm looking for this fight, I think this is a good opportunity, and then, or if is it just a case of there's no communication, or if it's a case of people aren't necessarily listening to the calls, because that's really what it feels like.
Yeah, there's clearly some conflicting priorities here, where Zach could in that situation, if Zach is not diving into 3 people, Darius blew his ghost. They could have kited that out and let Darius's ghost run out and just slowly work him down, and then potentially look for a re-engage or a pick. This team comp does not want to fight really, really hard. They want to wear you down and then maybe look for something.
I think it's like,
yeah.
unfortunately, RHR's comp is really good against this dive comp that Control Alt Delete are trying to bring to the table between the Soraka that is really Annie, the Lilia being able to kind of split the fight up. I think it's just really difficult for them to fight. As actually now we're seeing this Baron being taken for Riot HR department, and it is going to be Zach trying to go in for a miracle steal, but there's nothing to be had here. He gives his life. Fortunately, they're getting a little bit of gold on the other side through the mid turret and the bot side turrets, but I don't think they're going to be able to just finish it off. And now they might actually just be cut off from any sort of escape. They're going to try and escape through the bottom side, but they have a lot of move speed coming toward this. And oh, this is not looking good. They might just have to start sacrifice the Tark, but Annie is going to sniff out the Kaisa, and it looks like she is going to be gone. Ezreal is here to prevent any sort of escape, and she's going to look for a ult into the backside and kill him, but no, it's just going to be GG, it looks like. They're going to base, they're going to reset, they're going to force down mid turret, they're going to force down mid inhib, and it's just going to be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a rough one. a rough one to watch, rough one to call, because you see, especially in champs, like you see what they wanted to do, and it's like you remember that scene in Indiana Jones where the dude does like all those are like really complicated moves, and then Harrison Ford just pulls out a gun. Yeah, that's how this game feels like. Where like they have all these really cool ideas, and like it's very clear what they're trying to do, and then they just swung a sledgehammer at them, and it's like, what do you can't do anything. It doesn't matter all of your cool stuff if someone just
going in. Here to really follow up on that. They might be able to look for a good fight here, but the flash coming out from the Soraka, and now Zach is just betrayed on that. Unfortunately, the Tark ult comes in and saves him, but Kaisa was just a little bit too far. Now there's the Lilia ult. The gameplay ult to maybe do something as well, but Kaisa is actually doing a lot of damage here. Might be able to kill the Lilia, but Lilia gets over the wall. That is just such a fast deer, the Lambo deer. I know I called it a Ferrari earlier, but I try to be inclusive of all people. Mercedes, oh no, the gameplay barrels, it's still not quite enough. Yep. Oh
all people, all luxury brands.
Exactly.
No, it's just Bunny knowing his limits, right? Oh no, talent.
There's nothing to be done here, and then just the one shot from the Annie over onto Controlled. Even with the cleanse, it's just you can't cleanse damage. The damage is just too much, and frankly, at this point, Gangplank hasn't scaled up enough, and they're just gonna be able to force the issue on the end of this. Ooh, Zach is just gonna get blown up once again. The silence coming through, landing the root on two. Very nice by Soraka, as finally Mordekaiser shows up, kidnaps the Darius from the rest of the fight. And he looks like he's just going to be killed in the midst of everything. Flashes back out and he is dead. Annie is legendary, 8-0 and 11. And on the Tarek, there is no HP remaining. Gangplank is here now, actually able to get the shutdown onto Annie. So long, perfect KDA, but so long, Control Alt Delete. Your dreams of winning this series are over as Riot HR take it 2-0.
Wow. That was not how I expected that series to go. At all.
I gotta say, nobody's predictions, I think, were in line with what had happened. The proactivity that we saw from Riot's HR department was just on another level. And I think Control Alt Delete were kind of on their heels, kind of spinning for a lot of that series. And
yeah,
honestly, all credit, all props to Riot HR department. I think they played a fantastic series.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I do have to call it out. With the last minute sub, that does change the complexion of their team composition, right? Like Bunny is not their normal jungler, which totally changes the strategy. It totally changes the team composition. That being said, a win is a win. So they are now 1-1. Control to Lead does fall to 0-2 on the season, and this season, I believe for the first time, you have to earn your way into playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's a question for someone that's not me. No, I think everyone still gets in. Yeah.
Just kidding. Please do not flame me. I was wrong.
They're just for fun matches, pre-playoffs, but I mean, that's you still kind of get an idea of the dynamics between each team, how teams like to play, and really especially the kind of playmaking that certain teams are able to unlock with compositions that you wouldn't necessarily expect, right? Like I think you look at what Hippogriff did along with Talon and Bunny this game, and just their effectiveness in being on the map. That was unbelievable. That was crazy. Yeah. And so I think in accordance with that, I think we got to give there's only one person that we can really give this interview, this MVP to.
I mean, he basically, he set the tone for the rest of his team, you know.
All right.
You want to, let's do it.
Yeah, let's get him in here.
Hello.
Mr.
What's up,
Hippogriff,
guys?
how you
You
doing?
en-
How did those Darius games feel?
They felt good.
did you enjoy walking up to the enemy laner and then pressing all of your buttons and then killing them?
Yeah, these games didn't feel very interactive. I feel like they were fighting. There was a little bit of fighting going on the enemy team amongst themselves.
Okay. Okay.
We did see
Yeah.
a few preliminary GGs come out. Not sure if you guys had any conversations about that, but honestly, just walk us through that game one, because that game one, it looked like you were a little ahead, and then all of a sudden you were a lot ahead.
I felt ahead the whole time. Let me just look.
No,
That's
you were ahead the whole time, but not like
Oh,
game
our
two.
team is our team.
That's the Darius mentality. I'm always ahead, even when I'm behind.
Yeah, well, actually though, because like your passive along with Conquer gives you like 200 AD level 1, so you kind of just fight
Disgusting.
people. And that's kind of all I did. I just
Yeah, we
saw
were
him
kind
and
of
fought him.
we were kind of talking about that, where it's, Darius is one of those champions where you can just, from the start, you always know you're going to be a little bit ahead in lane. Was that a big part of the was that part of the game plan where you're all saying, hey, Matt, it's one of your best champions, one of your best champions, you can run over a fight with it, it does change the complexion of the game? Or was it, hey, comfort, delete someone, hard reset, just more of a simple comp? Like, what was the strategizing around the composition? Because it clearly worked.
At some point, somebody said, "You want to play Darius?" And I said, "Okay," and I played Darius.
That's insane. I mean, sometimes it's just that
I
simple.
don't think I don't think we put much thought into it.
I mean, honestly, sometimes, especially like if it's one of your signature picks, I think especially in a league like TCL, it's something where you're looking at it and you're like, hey, I'm comfortable on it. I think I can win on it. Sometimes it really is just that simple.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, let's walk into that game two a little bit, if you don't mind. Just a quick one. How did it feel to live on 1 HP, turn around in the bush, and just kill him? That was pretty disgusting.
That one felt dirty. I felt kind of bad after that one.
Oh man.
But he did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I didn't die. Actually, I was kind of trolling, and it ended up working out.
That's pretty wild. Oh man, but I mean, a well-deserved MVP. Really, really congrats to your team. You guys looked like night and day in terms of what I think expectations for some people were, and what you guys put on paper. That was pretty unbelievable. Congrats.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks. That was once again Hippogriff. Thanks so much for joining us. The MVP of the match. That was Control Delete versus Riot HR Department. Riot HR Department with a dominating 2-0. Actually, 2-0s across the board today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for joining me, Steve, on the cast as well. What a fantastic day of games. And that was a double header, and we'll hope to see you next week for week 3 of TCL Season 6.